Hello everybody and welcome to this Facebook Live from outside the MKM Stadium, where Hull City have won a home game again, 2-1 against Oxford United, and boy did they need that. That's the first time, in fact, since November 2023 Hull City have won 2 games in a row at home. That's how long it's been. But after 66 minutes, when Michael Hellick thrashed in a volley, I don't think anybody expected that they would go on and win the game. They were 1-0 down. Oxford, who had grown into the game actually and had looked much more comfortable and offered an awful lot more than Plymouth ever did last week, were 1-0 up, and it was a really interesting moment because the fans, 19,000 here tonight, kind of got immediately frustrated, as you'd expect, but then it was almost like they collectively looked at each other and went, right, the boys need us now. So they got right behind them, kind of at 1-0 down, roared them on. Ruben, who was watching from the stands, we'll come to that in just a moment. They made 3 changes. They brought on Casey Palmer, Mason Burstow and Regan Slater, and it was Casey Palmer who created the equalising goal 7 minutes after they'd gone 1-0 down. Beautiful piece of skill on the edge of the box to play the ball through for Joe Gelhardt, and you kind of felt on the balance of play, if somebody was going to score for City, it probably was going to be Joe Gelhardt, and he did. He sort of ran through, and the goalkeeper Cumming came out, and he rolled it into the bottom corner, and suddenly the ground was alive, and City were knocking on the door. Oxford were kind of hanging on a little bit, and then they got the second goal 3 minutes later. Did City? Fortuitous, but you know, I always believe that you make your own luck in anything, and they did. And a wonderful piece of skill from Puerta to dazzle Matos on the touchline, and then he sort of tried to put the ball across, and it hit the goalkeeper and went. It seemed to take an age, but went in the back of the net. And you know, they had 1 or 2 moments. Did Oxford? They hit a crossbar with a really nice volley from the edge of the box. But even with 6 or 7 minutes added on at the end, you know, City were relatively comfortable. Oxford were direct as we expected them to be. Lots of long balls into the penalty area, lots of long throws, but they saw it out relatively comfortably. The only kind of fly in the ointment was Gustavo Puerta getting sent off in, I think, the 96th and a half minute of 6 minutes added on by referee Josh Smith, and I don't know why he did it. As in the referee, this is Puerta was already on a yellow card, and he's carrying the ball into the penalty area, right side, and him and the defender come together, and Puerta, he goes over. Yes, he does probably make more of it, but there is definite contact. I'm not saying it was a penalty because I'm not sure. I've only seen one replay, and the replay is not that clear, but it certainly wasn't a dive. It was theatrical from Puerta, the way he sort of goes like a salmon, leaps over, but I'm not convinced it was a dive. And I think in the game, you know, it's pretty much the last kick of a game. I just don't think the referee needs to do that. And I think when the referee goes, well, he would have departed the stadium by now, or on his way back to the hotel or wherever he's going now, I think he'll think, why did I do that? Why did I need to send him off? So now you can't appeal a second yellow card. So Gustavo misses Saturday's game at West Bromwich Albion. Sometimes with referees, and I don't like to criticise referees unless I have to, because they've got a really difficult job, and they are vitally important to this game. But I look at those types of decisions and I think, why did you need to send him off? You've added 6 minutes on, fine. You've played 96 and a half minutes. There's enough doubt there whether it's a penalty or not. Sometimes I think in football we forget that it's a contact sport, and it's becoming so kind of watered down now. Is football that you can't tackle, you can't have any contact. If you have a contact with a player, it's got to be a foul. Either he wins the ball or it's a foul. There's no in between. There's no, well, it's a contact sport, and there's been a coming together. Get on with it. You know, it really frustrates me about football and where we are with modern football. And I just think that decision from Josh Smith is indicative of refereeing now at this level. It's over officious, it's petty, and it's just completely unnecessary, because, as I say, you know, the game's, basically the next from that next phase of play, he blew the full-time whistle. Like, why? Why have you sent somebody off for something that's completely innocuous? And this now means that Hull City are without one of their players. The lad doesn't play on. Puerta's in a rhythm of form. He's playing well. Basically scored a goal tonight. Sometimes, what are you doing? Have a word. And Smith had actually refereed the game fairly well tonight. Actually, I thought for the most part he'd refereed it sensibly. You didn't really notice him, and I think referees, the best refereeing performance are ones you don't notice, and that was that from Josh Smith. But tonight, he's ruined it. He's ruined his game. He's not ruined the game for City, but he's had a negative impact on the end of the game when he didn't need to. He could have just told Puerta to get up and get on with it, and we play on, and he blows the full-time whistle. So, that's just it does my head in, and I'm sure it does your head in watching on, and it's certainly the manager as well and the players, because it's just like there's no consistency, and there's an even greater lack of common sense from referees that have never played the game, don't really understand the game, and are refereeing to a specific set of rules, and there can be no grey areas. It's black and white. Well, actually, understand the game, understand what you're dealing with, and actually watch the incident and know that the way the two players came together, there was contact. It's not like he's miles away and he's flopped down. Fine, book him. Whatever's time of the game, first minute, last minute. If he's flopped out, fine, give him a second yellow card. But not that. Anyway, I'm trying not to get on my soapbox at 11:35 at night, and Hull City have won the game, and that is all that matters. So that's 7 points from 9 now, after what was a pretty dismal defeat in Cardiff a couple of weeks ago. We all felt low, we all felt fed up, worried about what would happen going forward, because yes, they dominated the ball in Cardiff, but it never looked like scoring, and it was a damaging defeat against the team that were one of their relegation rivals. But let's give them credit, they've responded brilliantly to that, to have beaten Plymouth, which they had to go to Bristol City. And I think, as we said on Saturday, most people probably would have taken a point before the game, given Bristol City's form at Ashton Gate and how they were doing. It's frustrating given the fact that they went a goal ahead, and I kind of feel like they might have gone and won that game, but alas, they didn't. And they've won tonight, so that's 7 from 9. And given the results last night, Luton winning at Cardiff, Derby beating Coventry, that gap was down to 2 points. This was must win tonight. I said it on the pod on Monday, obviously before Derby's win and Luton's win. I felt that tonight was a must win, given where Oxford were in the table. It was another home game against a rival, if you like, and they've done it. It wasn't pretty. It's not a game that's ever going to live long in the memory. We're not going to look back on it and go, bloody hell, they played brilliantly. They've played some nice football at times. They created some chances, but they found a way to win. And at this stage of the season, I challenge anybody to give two hoots about how they really play, if at the end of it they've won the game. Yes, you want to see. Yes, we talk about performance, and if they get a consistent level of performance every week, they believe that they will get more wins than they will losses. But ultimately, at this, when you're in the run-in at this business end of the season, particularly in the situation they're in, if they play fairly averagely, 6 out of 10, but they win the game, nobody really cares two hoots, do they? I don't think anybody is going away from here tonight going, well, I didn't play very well, that was rubbish, I didn't enjoy that. Everyone's going away going, we've scored 2 in 3 minutes to come from behind and win a game. And when these fans here had seen 3 wins all season, they don't care how they come as long as they do, and that is what they've done. They've now won back-to-back home games, as I say, for the first time since November 23 under Liam Rossini, and it's another game ticked off, and they've gone above Oxford in the table as well, which is really important. They're up to 18th now, and Portsmouth obviously lost at home to Plymouth tonight. Portsmouth suddenly, I watched their game against Leeds on Sunday. They beat Leeds. They go 10 points clear of the drop. Suddenly they're only 2 points above City. So Stoke have won tonight, so that's a big win for them. I guess the losers over the last couple of days have been Oxford and Cardiff City. I mean, Oxford, really good point at Norwich last Friday night. The talk after the game was they're 8 points clear of the bottom 3. Are they safe? Fast forward less than a week, and that 8-point deficit, or the 8-point gap, has been halved to 4 points. And now Oxford have not won a game in 9. Their away form's turgid, 1 win all season. suddenly they're looking over their shower. I interviewed Gary Rowett after the game, and he was furious. He was furious with his team because it's like we've not been great, but we've come away to here. We've gone a goal up, and we've gifted two goals. He said, I don't mind. He's like, I can kind of take losing a game if I've been outplayed or the opposition have scored great goals. That didn't happen tonight, did they? He said the 2 goals that we conceded were awful, and they were really poor goals from their point of view. But that for us doesn't matter. It's all about what City do, and as I say, they've been criticised this season. They've been challenged, and when it mattered in this last week, this was a massive week for them, a really massive week with 4 games before the break after the Cardiff defeat. Well, so far, as I said, 7 from 9 is really, really good. You couldn't really ask for more in reality. Yes, 9 from 9 would have been obviously what you want, but given what happened at Ashton Gate and losing Zhao after 15 minutes or whatever it was, I still think that is an exceptionally good return. And for a team that aren't used to winning football matches, they've now won 3 in 6. That's one defeat in 6. That Cardiff game is the one. So you watch them, and even tonight, you worry for the next couple of games. The fact they've not got Zhao. I thought Matt Crooks struggled up front on his own. They weren't. If they were going to score, it was probably going to come from Gelhardt running through the middle or Kamara cutting in. They didn't really look a massive threat. So I think that's something they're going to have to look at in the next couple of games. I'm not sure Matt Crooks is in the system that they play is suitable to play as a number 9. I kind of feel like they'd be better with somebody like Mason Burstow, who's got the energy to run and press and is used to playing as a 9. Carl Joseph struggled tonight out on the left. I wonder if that's something he might look at in midweek, maybe drop Joseph out, go Burstow. Casey Palmer obviously did his chances of getting a start. No harm, brilliant. He was really good when he came on. Obviously, they've got no Puerta now for Saturday, so you'd imagine that with Gustavo being out, Regan is a natural like for like to come into that role at the Hawthorns, because obviously Zhao is out for the next 2 games as well. So, look, all in all, as I say, it's not a performance that will live too long in the memory. It wasn't terrible. It was in parts it was okay, but tonight was all about getting 3 points, and getting 3 points is what they've done, and fair play. And I think everybody that was here tonight or watching on will be relieved and gone home happy with that in their bag. So just a quick one on Ruben before we go. Excuse me. That booking at Ashton Gate that he got for what the referee said was time wasting or delaying the restart meant he had to serve a one match touchline ban. So he was up on the gantry tonight. He said to me just now that he hated it. It was awful. Although it did give him a very different perspective watching from high up. But it's not something he wants to be doing. And he said he's going to have to learn. Funny enough, I remember last season when Liam Rossini got sent off at Norwich, and he sort of said, I'm going to have to learn from that because I don't want to be in the stands. I want to be in the dugout on the technical area where I can affect my team and help my team. Ruben sort of said similar, so uncanny resemblance between the 2 managers there. But yeah, so he was out of it tonight, and it was down to Dawes, James Oliver Pearce and Toby Loveland to orchestrate things. Obviously Ruben was still in contact with those up in the gantry, obviously letting them know about the changes and whatnot, but yeah, at least he came through it. If he learned something, then fair play. I don't think there's any fresh injuries apart from Cody Drame's out for a couple of weeks. He's picked up a knock, that's why he wasn't on the bench today. So that's obviously a bit of a problem for City in the sense that Drame's been good cover for Louis Cole, but that said, they have got Finn Burns that could fill in there if need be. Regan, as we know, can drop in and play right back if need be. But they've only got to get through the game at West Brom on Saturday, and then Cody should be back for the game against Luton after the international break, so nothing to be too concerned about there. Obviously Gus is out for Saturday, but back for Luton. Zhao not back for Luton, not back until Hillsborough. I think it's April the 5th, Saturday the April the 5th. But basically Zhao's got a month off, all bar a couple of days, which is nice for him, I'm sure, although he probably wants to be playing, and I thought they missed him tonight. Special mention for Charlie Hughes. I thought he was exceptional tonight as well. Defensively, I thought they were really good. Obviously the goal was not ideal, though I've not seen a replay of it. I just saw it in real time. I did wonder if there was a block-off foul in that build-up to the goal that allowed Helek to be free and volley in, but As I say, I've not seen it, so don't quote me on that. So there we have it. Hull City have won again at home, a 4th home win of the season, 2nd on the spin. They're now up to the heady heights of 18th in the table, 5 points clear of the relegation zone, 9 games to go, and a trip to West Brom on Saturday. We will be with Ruben tomorrow, Thursday, so it never stops. We'll have a special match day podcast with you tomorrow morning. We've got, all being well, George Ellick, the Oxford United fan, host of Not the Top 20 podcast with Ali Maxwell. He was here tonight, was George. So we'll hopefully have that for you tomorrow, looking back on this game and also looking ahead to the Albion on Saturday. If you are going to the Hawthorns, have a safe trip. We will see you there, and keep an eye out. As I say, we've got loads more stuff coming over the next few days, and indeed through the international break as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed your night, and we will see you in the Black Country on Saturday. Up the Tigers.